You know who loves Izotope? This guy. Everyone here at Ruinous Media can't get enough of Izotope's intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. This year, make a resolution to yourself to say goodbye to bad audio and hello to super clear, wide, dynamic, clean audio using Izotope RX11 and the new Ozone 12. Master every track's potential with their complete 20-tool suite. Go to izotope.com and use code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. And go to izotope.com. That spelling is izotope.com. I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Schecter Guitars. This holiday season, go over to schecterguitars.com and see what high-quality goodies they have waiting there for you. Premium feel and unbeatable price. See why guitarists like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse, Robert Smith from The Cure, and Ernie C. from Body Count all love Schecter Guitars. A wide variety of styles and builds with high-end components and affordable prices for touring guitarists. Built to last. Go treat yourself and try something new you've always wanted to check out. Schecter Guitars has it all. Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too.
I just kind of think about stuff all the time. And then if there's a tour that comes up, I'll throw it out there and see if it lands. And if not, I keep it, I'm most excited for Animal to the tour again whenever they do, because I have 50 ideas,
What's happening, everybody? How are you doing? Welcome to the Hyphenate show with me, your host, Randy Randall. Today is our show for Thursday, February 26th. Is that correct? That is today's date. I know it's my favorite part of the show, reading off the dates. Thursday, February 26th. February's almost gone. Did you know February this year, February 1st was on a Sunday, and February 28th will be on a Saturday? And if you look at it on the calendar, it makes a complete, calendar day. It's exactly 4 weeks. This was pointed out to me. And I've been enjoying seeing this on the calendar every time I look at it. It's there's no leftover days. There's no other days in there. That's my fun February fact for the day. On today's show, I am very happy and excited to welcome my friend Abby Portner to the show. She is an incredible production designer, touring lighting designer. What does she do? She's got live video installations, sculpture, directing, record art, art direction, set design, illustration, fine art. She's got everything. You can find out more about her on her website, abigailportner.com. My other favorite part of the show, where I spell things, ABIGAILPORTNER.com. abigailportner.com. You can also find her on the Instagrams at Abby Portner, ABBYPORTNER. I've known Abby for a bunch of years. She has been a road dog for the last 10 years, 15 years, and I haven't seen her as much. And she's also relocated to the East Coast zone. We get into it a little bit here at the beginning of the interview, but she is rad, and it's so fun to get to catch up with her here on the podcast. How did I first meet Abby? I think it was when her band Rings was opening up for Animal Collective, and our friend Beatrix Fowler was opening the show also. They had a show as artist Bar, BARR, and Abby and and her group were opening as well. And so I think kind of in the Animal Collective world of stuff, of things, of, you know, she's, you may know her from so many Animal Collective album covers. Song Tongues is her artwork, and all kinds of videos. And if you've ever seen Animal Collective live, then you've seen her sets and her lighting and stage design. And it's incredible. It's psychedelic. It's natural, it's organic, it's all kinds of things. And she's also been the in-house set designer, lighting designer, tour person for John Cale for the last 15 years. So if you've seen John Cale out in the world, so we talk about all that here on the show. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good February. I'm just coming down from a whirlwind birthday weekend, and excited to dig into the rest of this year happening ahead of me. It's fun. It's always fun having that old birthday moment. You kind of get to reflect. Yes. Okay. And then get back on with it. It was fun. Lots of family time, lots of running around with the kids. And that's all you can ask for at this point. I'm happy, just getting to be dad and do dad things. I feel very lucky, very fortunate. I feel like I won the lottery sometimes, just having these kids and getting to be the age I am and getting to do all the fun stuff I get to do, and just having small little ones wake you up in the morning and throw balloons in your face to wake you up on your birthday. Like, oh, okay. Thank you. This is so much fun. Okay. Just woke up with a balloon and a child screaming in my face. It's a lot more fun than it sounds. Trust me. Yes, thank you to everyone for the great birthday wishes. It's always fun, hearing from people online and on the social medias, and, had a good one. And, let's go to my interview with Abby Portner. You can find me, on the Instagram at Randy S. Randall. You can write the show hyphenate@gmail.com, and, fuck ICE. Keep writing your representatives, telling them to defund this Gestapo bullshit regime going on, occupying cities, kidnapping people off the street. It's insane. We can't stand for it. We have to organize our communities and do everything we can to provide resources for those in need, so we can all survive to the next point of our collective national place. This is too much. Right now is not it. Let's get to the next one, and let's protect each other and do the best we can to stay safe. All right. See you on the other side. Abby, thanks so much for calling on Hyphenate. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been so long. What part of the world are you in?
I live in Savannah, Georgia now.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's actually freezing here right now.
Oh, that's
it's been it's been a kind of a cold, very cold winter, which I guess like last year it snowed for the first time I've been here, and it can get cold, but this year it's been like consistently pretty cold, so it's kind of a little bit odd.
Oh, that's hard. I remember there was a great skate video, Savannah Slamma from the 80s. Oh, am I glitching?
Oh yeah. I've definitely seen that one.
Oh, am I glitching? I don't know. Sorry to get.
What'd you say? Yeah, you're glitching.
Okay, here. Let's turn our cameras off. Let's see if that works. Oh, here, I'm going to turn mine off. Maybe that'll be easier.
Okay.
Let's see.
How do I turn the camera off? Just hit camera on?
Yeah, just hit the camera button. See if that works. There you go. That might be easier.
Okay.
It'll just be like a phone call.
Yeah, now you sound.
It sounds better. Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of like echoey.
Okay. Cool. All right. This is easier. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. Savannah Slamma. Yeah. I remember they had like a montage in the beginning of it, and it's like, what are you doing here today? And they talk to local guys like, I have no idea. It was one of those like early like street, things. I always think about that whenever I think of Savannah. Is that skate video? Yeah.
I think like a bunch of people sent it to me when I first moved here. And I feel like I feel like there's like a bunch of like random skate things like from that era in like 90s that like people have sent me.
Oh, funny.
That I'm like, oh, it's cool. Cause there's like, to me right now, I mean, I don't know, obviously like I'm a little bit removed, but I like I don't think people skate here anymore. Like people don't come here to like skate spots, I don't think, but I feel like that used to be a really big thing here.
It must have, yeah. I don't know what the whole vibe was, but I definitely know. I just know that video from there. But it was funny because it was like street skating, kind of at the like end of the '80s, like, and so it's just like weird like jump ramps in the middle of like an arena or something. And like Mark Gonzalez had an awesome spot in it where he just like picked up his board and just ran for a while. It's like it was this kind of experimental world, like post big ramps, kind of moving into then like stairs and rails and things.
Yeah. I feel like it's cool. Like I kind of wish it still happened. I mean, maybe I just don't know, but I wish it still happened here. I would definitely go.
That's awesome. Super cool. Yeah. Well, let's go back to the beginning. For people who don't, who aren't familiar with you, what are you doing now? What are you working on now? And sort of, and how do you best describe what your role is?
I'm basically still doing, a little bit of everything, but I'm still doing production design, which is, I guess more how we met is I was playing music, but also doing production design for Animal Collective, and doing the stage design, record covers, posters, all that kind of stuff since sort of the beginning of Animal Collective. But then, I guess we know each other from me playing in rings, and then solo drawings, which is like when I first moved to LA, there was a lot of drawing shows.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like they keep surfacing recently. Like a couple people sent me. Yeah, and it's funny because I also like haven't kind of played music in a while, but also like I usually can find like ring stuff, because it was like we played more festivals and things like that. But it's funny. I did play a ton of like weird events in LA. So like sometimes people will send me like weird videos. I'm like, oh yeah, I did play outside of Urban Outfitters, like
or at the Cheetah Strip Club.
Yes, I did play the Cheetah Strip Club. That video is so I like send that video to people sometimes who like don't know me and they're like, oh wow. It was so fun. It was so fun.
Yeah. It was a time. It was a time and a place you had to be here. So production design. So that means you work with bands and sort of work on their stagecraft or sort of how they are presenting visuals during their live performances.
Yeah. So I do, like the set design, I do a lot of lighting design, and I do like video, either the content for a screen or video mapping for like stuff on stage. So yeah, basically like, I do a lot of people just focus like they're a lighting designer. I kind of, because of like growing up in the time we did and also just like being with Animal Collective, I had to like kind of learn all of it. So it really depends on what the band wants. Sometimes I'll just do a lighting design. Sometimes I'll do like a backdrop. Sometimes I'll do everything. So yeah, that kind of anything that's on stage, for like a new record cycle. And then sometimes sometimes I'll do like video content for the record or music video or the record cover, like depending on how much like the band needs.
All around sort of branding, band design, these types of new words that didn't exist. It was
yeah, they didn't exist. So I still like don't think of it as that, but it is.
right. Yeah, the kind of the new world. And then are you often going out on the road with the bands too and setting these things up and kind of overseeing it, or you do the design and you send it off with their crew? What percentages are you out there and what percentages are you just sending it?
It really depends. I've tried to slow down on the touring part of it just because pre-COVID I was out constantly. Post-COVID, like I guess you'd call it post-COVID, like when everyone came back, I was touring so much. Like I was touring with like 6 or 7 bands a year. And I just burnt out, to be totally honest, because it just was like I was never home, and it's a lot of physical labor, and it's a lot of like intense sleeping and living on a bus. So I kind of like have slowed down a little bit on the actual touring part, though I still do it, and I still, obviously do it for various, like I work for Cale, and I do everything for John. Like there's no like I do all his tours. Like there's no like I just send it out because like I'm like his person. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, and that's like fun, and it's obviously a different kind of world than most people tour. So it's kind of we play really insane venues, and we just did Lincoln Center, and we played the Parthenon, and it's like, it's really fun. And not that normal touring isn't fun, because it always is fun, but I try to kind of slow down on just like the grind of touring these days and do more designing and sending out, just because then I have more mental space to design.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because it just gets tiring when you're just like also designing and then you're tired. And so I've been trying to just like, I'll do like production days with a band, and then usually just like hire someone to run it.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I can imagine. Yeah, just the chance of having, relaxed creative time on the road is always hard. I mean, you've seen that, from the band perspective too. It's like, well, it's like, can't you guys write during sound check? And it's like, not really. Yeah. We're trying to basically just sound good for that night. Like, it's hard, or there's a lot, but it's hard to explain because there is a lot of downtime. Technically, you're in a van most of the day or in a bus, but writing on the road can have mixed results. It isn't always, the ideal circumstance for being a creative, productive person.
Totally. It's hard. And it's like, I love touring, it's like, sure. It's hard to say no to touring because it is really fun. Like it's not really fun. And it's also very, very fun. And it's like this, you live in this really absurd world for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 3 months, and it's like, it's hard for me to like jump back and forth in a way too, because it is like such these weird worlds that you get sucked into, and then you're like, oh, I have to come home and then be normal again.
Well, I feel, you definitely need that decompression time post tour where it's like, it becomes like 5 o'clock and suddenly you just start moving things. Like I'll just find myself like, oh, I'm loading in. I'm like, I have somewhere to be. I could just feel the time of day. Like I should not be sitting around. Like this stuff has to happen now from 3 to 5. I need to be productive.
Totally. I'll end up doing weird stuff where I'll just like paint a room in my house or something, like I'll do like some weird production stuff like to my own house because I like can't sit still, and I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. My wife put the kibosh on it, but we had a guest room when we first bought our house here, and I put up a little day sheet. Like, here's the Wi-Fi code. Here's the shelves over there. Here's where stuff is, just because I was like, we'd have friends come stay over, and I was like, well, this is what you need. These are all the questions they're going to ask, but they don't want to ask it. So this is the day sheet, you put up on the wall, and I put little clip art on it and everything. And then finally she took it down. She's like, we do not live in a venue. You cannot, this is not a hotel. This is not a day room. You don't need this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. I just know, once you know the language of that life though, it does make common everyday things kind of easier.
Yeah, fully. It's like, I need the Wi-Fi code. I need to know where the snacks are. I need, it's like very basic things.
Yeah.
Where's the bathroom? Where can I shower? Like, I just need to know a certain 5 things per day. And
clean
that's
towels,
really it.
Water's over there. Yeah. Towels are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life gets pretty simple, when you're on the road and you kind of, living out of backpacks and suitcases, but it's unique. It doesn't always translate. During pandemic, it was funny. I mean, we had, our youngest was born in 2019, and then our oldest was just in first grade, so he was 6 years old. And once with the lockdown happened, I found myself going into kind of tour mode. I'm like, okay, so we have 4 people living just in one house. We can't really leave. All meals are here. All entertainment is here. Everything is, all work is sort of happening. And I was like, this is kind of like being on a tour bus or being in a van. I got that kind of like how to survive for long periods of time with the same people in a compressed space. I was like, okay, totally. I can do this. I got my podcast on. I got some little some Bluetooth headphones, and kind of figured out okay, everybody gets along, but everybody gives each other space. Like, don't be on top of each other. And but again, I felt like it was a useful skill to know, or how to navigate socially, living around people that, you're going to be around them 24/7, but you have to give people the space they need. Yeah,
totally. It is socially and people wise, it's people who tour are great. I mean, that's not always true, but
it takes a certain kind of person to be a road dog. If you've done it long enough.
If you're still touring,
just you're a certain kind of person. If you can do it that long, you know who they are.
Yeah, if we know you and you're still touring, or at least a little bit, you're good with good with people, or you should be if we're still touring.
Yeah, because the jerks and the princesses or the crybabies kind of get weeded out after a couple runs. No matter how successful the band is or the tour is, it's like you can't really keep it up for that long. It'll come out somewhere.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. How fun. So yeah, let's go back to the beginning. I mean, it's great to kind of hear where you're at now, but it'd be fun sort of, we'll do a biographical side of things. Where did you grow up and how did you first, how did creativity and art first kind of come into your life?
Well, I grew up in Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think in general, like, I've just always kind of been into, like, even as like a little kid, like playing and like building weird environments, even if like I knew it then, like mm-hmm. I would just like build weird things outside, or I would just, like pretend things are a certain way. And then like, my brother and I would like have to be in that situation where it's like this monkey runs this whatever, like convenience store. And, and so I would like build the whole thing out and like take like receipts from like a bank that, like I would just, and I feel like in a weird way that's like, was like a precursor to me doing set design, but yeah, I mean, my brother's an Animal Collective, Dave, and, they started playing music. I don't know, I was probably like 13 or something at the time. And so I really just started doing posters for them for shows in Baltimore.
And what was that? What were those early conversations like? Were you creating paintings and drawings and your brother was like, oh, we could use those for a show, kind of like a Raymond Pettibon, Greg Ginn kind of thing? Or was it something you were asking to do? Or what were those early conversations like?
I mean, I think it was like a bit of both. Like, I think like I wanted to be involved, but also like, he's always kind of been a fan of my artwork. And I think it was just kind of like we had done just a bunch of like, I don't know, like I feel like even as kids, we would do like drawings together and that kind of thing. So I think it was more just like, we have this show, he doesn't draw, can you draw us a flyer type thing? Because he makes a lot of art now. At the time, like he wasn't like drawing as much and doing collages and stuff like he does now. But it's like, so I think it was more like, hey, we have this, weird show in this, I don't know, they were all kind of like punk places or basements and stuff like that in the beginning. Like, can you like make a flyer for us? And it was like more kind of like that.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, I mean, there was like early on kind of, it wasn't Animal Collective yet. It was like different variations and different band members. And they did do some kind of like, wait, hold on, my phone. Can you still hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sometimes when my phone rings on my computer, it'll like disconnect the audio. So I just wanted to make sure. Like there was some sort of like installation-y performance art early on in Animal Collective in Baltimore days. And so I would always help with that. And even if it was like, can we get like a bunch of feathers, or like, can we get, it was like, that kind of was the beginning of like me working in music and I think the production side of things. And then I was when we all lived in New York, it was the same thing. Like they did like a storefront in Times Square, like really early on, Animal Collective, like Dave and Noah days. And I had made them a bunch of masks. I made a bunch of like toys and weird things. So like they then put like, there was like audio that then was like attached to, like it was like kind of like a weird collab experience, even though I didn't really think about it at the time because I was, I don't know, 18, 19. I don't know.
Just sort of an extension of the play that you guys were doing as kids, sort of.
Yeah, I was just like, sure, I can like knit these masks for you or whatever, So it's kind of like how I started doing stuff. And then I went to Parsons in New York. And so they lived in New York already. And so, or my brother lived in New York. And Brian lived in New York, and Noah and Josh lived in Boston. But I would just, same thing. I started doing like, I made the early masks, like the panda bear face and the Abby Tear leaf mask.
Right. That was sort of a part of their performance and the sort of the mythology around the band. There was a sort of mysterious, pseudonyms and natural sort of vibes.
Yeah. And that was sort of, Yeah, and that was like sort of like a I don't like even really remember the conversation anymore, but yeah, I would just it'd be like, from their names like what this looks like. And Dave used to kind of draw that form a bunch of like the leaf mask type thing. So that became like his mask he wore on stage all the time in early years. And then yeah, there was like a panda bear ears and stuff like that we made. And that was like the earliest stage design, I guess. Who
It's so
knows
cool.
that?
And
And then,
it really set them apart too, I think, as, at least for, from here on the West Coast, kind of as we were, obsessed, I would think I was volunteering at the Smell and just obsessed with music and art and all things sort of Providence, sort of inspired, it was like, you'd see lightning bolt, like, oh, okay, well, Brian has a mask on and it looks crazy. And there's, big print making things. It was sort of was those early aughts and like, what is the art coming out of the East Coast and who are these mysterious, people with weird names? And what was the music making? Yeah.
Totally. And like, I was lucky enough to grow up in Baltimore. And also, obviously with the Amplified boys and, Baltimore has such a great music scene. DC had such a great music scene. So I got to see so much music constantly, like we would go to the Black Cat and see Pavement. I would like, it was Micah. So like Black Dice played Micah when I was like 15 or something. So I went to see Black Dice like before like anyone knew them kind of. And it was like such a cool time. And also just like, I was very like lucky to have like older siblings that were like, check this out, or like older friends like Isaac and Una and like everyone who were like would take me to like places and be like, this is like what's cool, and I'd be like, oh sweet. I'd be like, sure.
And you got to be kind of like little sister or like little sibling to a scene or to a crew of people that were like part of it.
Yeah, totally. And like Guy Blakesley, like whose entrance, we're the same age, and we, he went to school. He was younger, but he went to school, the same school as my brother, high school, and we just like it was like that kind of vibe. We were like the little siblings of them, and we got to like go everywhere they did. And it's funny now because it's like, we're all still very close, and it's cool because it's like everyone kind of does creative things, and we all came from that same place. So I don't know, it was an awesome time for sure.
That's amazing. Yeah, I had two older brothers, one that was really into like skateboarding and playing guitar and had friends in bands and things. And I kind of was, but I was like 11 years younger or something like that. So I was the really little annoying brother. But again, someone had to watch me, and my oldest brother had a skate shop from like 88 to 91. So I was like the little Grom kid that just spent all summer, instead of going to summer school or having a babysitter or some kind of like summer camp, I just hung out in the skate shop in, suburban Southern California all summer and just got to learn about things that way and to hear music in the car, listen to, Nirvana as it was coming out, or Jane's Addiction, or these types of things, just in my brother's car driving around as he was, taking me with him everywhere. And I feel like it was that fun kind of thing. Like, okay, well, this is how it is. This is just the world I have here. Older siblings, just influence things in a way where it's like, I can't even, it's to the point where my oldest brother really liked Red Hot Chili Peppers, at the time. And it's like, I don't feel like I have a discernible critical, like, take on Red Hot Chili Peppers, because it was just like the soundtrack of my childhood. Like as an adult, it's like I kind of I'm unable. I get it. I get why all the things that are terrible about them. However, it was like it's like it's the same thing like Michael Jackson or something. It's like this was just like the wallpaper of our childhood. This is what it was there.
Totally.
Like, I know technically all the things that are wrong and factually that are wrong with them, but it just was. It's it's like critiquing your mom's car. It's like, yeah, but I didn't have any choice in this. It's like, I don't have a Chrysler LeBaron. I don't have an opinion about that car. It was just the car I grew up in. I don't know. How am I supposed to have a critical opinion about this piece of my childhood?
Yeah, it is funny. You don't even think about it. And you're like, or like you think about it now and you're like, oh, I know all those songs. And you're like, why do I know those songs? Constantly,
Yeah. There's just certain things that will always be tattooed inside of my head, and you go, well, that's part of that's how you grew up. You don't have a choice. That's incredible. So then New York days, just kind of making stuff for the shows and for things. Was there ever did you think this was a job, or what were your sort of those early goals, or what were you thinking, more fine artist, or what were some of those ideas early on?
I think like I never really thought about it as a job, to be honest. Like, which is kind of ironic because I've pretty much never had another job. But I mean, I was a person's, and I was in fine art for mainly sculpture. I did a lot of drawing too, obviously, but like I made so many crazy sculptures, and we had these studios, and I would change my studio all the time. Like I would repaint it, I would make it into a different installation. So anytime we had studio visits, it was like going into a different world. And so when I started, like towards the end, when it was like, I guess senior, we had to do a bunch of projects. Like my brother made music for an installation. And so he basically like just did the soundtrack for like the sculptures. They were like these whale sculptures. And I'm spacing on the name of the song, but it is out. It is like he did release it, but it's like there was a, like, you know, he just did the audio for it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It kind of works both ways. Like you can do the audio like from these drawings or kind of thing. But I mean, I don't think like I really thought about it like, oh, I'll do stage design, like I'll do production design. But it was just sort of like automatically like they needed more and more stuff because they got bigger and bigger during that time. And so like one of the first things was Prospect Park. Like we did this massive show in Prospect Park during the summer, and there was like these massive, you know, I built these massive whales and sculptures on stage and moving waves and jellyfish that went over the audience. And that was like the first like big thing I'd ever done.
Wow.
I think I'd done like the skeleton, which is like there's like a skeleton with a tutu that was like pretty iconic that they toured with for a very long time. And I think that had been before then, but this was like the first thing that I was like, oh, there was like a lighting design with it, and we hired people, and we, you know, it was like, and I was like, wow, this is Kate Roscoe helped me build everything. And it was like, yeah, my bandmate helping me build stuff. And it was like very like still kind of, you know, we made it out of wood and simple, but it was like, wow, this is cool. Like I can kind of like, I've always been into theater, and, you know, we went to see a ton of Broadway when I was a kid. So I've always been kind of like obsessed with that. Like still, like, I think it's amazing. And the set designs and like researching how they make different set designs and stuff like that. And so I think I'd already been in that sort of headspace. So the fact that like I could do something that scale was like, oh, maybe this is like a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, I really didn't, I don't know. I just started touring with them. So I didn't really do anything else. I don't know. Not that I didn't have an option, but like I just was like, oh, this is fun. I didn't do the I didn't do like some of the early tours because I was in school. So then I was like doing some of the like simple short tours, like when I would have time. And then I was nannying, and then I would like, it started just kind of taking over more and more time. And yeah, I wasn't doing lighting design in the beginning. I was just like doing the set designs and doing some video content. And then the more like I needed to learn, like the more I started learning about lighting. And so I could like do everything on stage. And that's kind of like how it started. And I really just only worked for them for a super, super long time until I realized I could work for other bands.
You've developed the
like,
skill set that could translate to anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I can do this kind of now for anyone. And like, it doesn't have to be like coming from the same, you know, my brother and I are so close. We're only like 15 months apart. So it's like, I can understand like any sort of vision really. And it was really easy for me. It's, you know, it's not easy, but it's like easy to understand what they want with anything, you know, because it's like I've worked for them for so long now. But I think it was like a moment in time where I was like, oh, I can actually like maybe do this for other people. And like, yeah. And that's just kind of like how it started. And actually like the first, I don't know if it's totally true. No, that's not totally true. But like one of the first other people I worked for was John Cale. And it was just like a funny person to jump to after
you're working with your brother for so long. Like, okay, instead of a kind of a lateral move, it's like, what if I just went? Yeah. I remember when you first got that job, and it was so epic because I think he was doing the like Paris 1919 anniversary shows around that time. And
yeah. And we like the first, like when I first got that job, it was like, I just did a music video and like, you know, we like filmed it at black, you know, like it was still kind of like, it was like, it was all like friends, you know, like everyone in the video was like, you know, like Steve Lee and Danny Garcia. Like I just like had a bunch of friends like be in it. And like, it was so like, oh, this is fun. Like I didn't really think about it as becoming like a full-time job, because for a while it was like he was on tour for so long. But yeah, and then after that they were just like, oh, you got along with him, like, do you want to do this like show at the Whitney with us? And I was like, sure. Like it was very like gradual, but which like most of the bands that, I mean, not really anymore, but like during that time were like, it was kind of like everything felt like naturally to work for other people. And yeah, it felt like less of like me, like, I don't know, not less of a job, because it is a job, but you know what I mean? Like now it's like
a formal sort of, here's my pitch, here's my, here's the,
you
get a request, an RFP, and then you've got to put a deck together and send it. And it's like kind of,
yeah. Like now it feels like a little bit more like that, just because, I mean, it's just obviously like I go out for more tours, or I get asked to go out for more tours. And yeah, it just feels more like you don't really know the band or the person or whatever. Like I think back, like, most of LA days were just like friends of friends, or got asked because this person did a tour that knew this person, like Sure. It was more, and it still is obviously like that, but it's a little bit less these days.
Yeah, but it's cool though. I mean, because obviously it's a marketable skill. It's it's something you can do, and there's, as long as people are doing it. I have so many questions on the side, but I don't, before we move away from John Cale, I'm just so curious. I mean, obviously I'm a huge Velvet Underground fan. What is it like working for him? I mean, how much is he open about the past, and or is it always just new stuff looking forward? I mean, do you ever get stories? Not that you have to share them, but is he open to talking about his work with Lou Reed and the things he's done in the past, or what's been your experience working with him?
It really depends. Like I've worked for him now in April it'll be 11 years, wow. Which is totally bananas. And it's their family. Him and his manager now are basically like in the band. It doesn't change. It's the same crew, the same band that it's been for those 11 years. And there's not very many of us. There's like 5 of us that tour or something. So it's like really tight knit. So yeah, like we get stories for sure. Like we get them because we know him really well, and it's not often. It's not, he's really like likes to, obviously he's into new music and he likes to move forward and he likes to make new music and talk about new things, just because the past was intense,
I would imagine.
But yeah, I mean, I've had some awesome moments where like we've gotten stories, and we did all those Velvet Underground 50 years of the Banana record, and I went to like the opening. There was like a big art opening in Paris that I went to with him, and I got some stories from photos, and like there's moments for sure, but he's just really chill. Like he's really just, I don't know. He's definitely just more like a family member at this point. So
you don't
whatever, like,
yeah, you don't pass over the questions. He'll just offer it up if something crosses his mind.
Yeah, it's usually like we see a photo if we're in a venue that there's a memory, or like we mostly tour in Europe, and so like we'll play these crazy venues, and then he'll something will remind him of something, and we'll get a story. But it's mainly just like we all hang out and we all just tell jokes and hang out, and it's just like a funny, like, dysfunctional family. Because
like the Misfits kind of rolling around with funny Uncle John.
Yeah, totally. Because we're all like very, very different. His audio crew's from Amsterdam. That's always been. And yeah, it was just like a funny. It's fun. It's like it's a different type of tour than touring with someone younger. So it's like.
Bet, yeah.
It like, it's just, you have to like know that, and it's fun. You just have to be the type of person that can like be in that world, because it's very different than like touring with whatever Animal Collective. I mean, not totally, because it's also family, but like, yeah, we have just like the way the tours are structured and what we do and the rehearsals and everything is like very different than like pretty much any other tour I've been on. But it's fun. Like,
I wouldn't expect it any other way. I mean, I imagine, John Cale does things the way he wants to do them. At this age, he's earned that.
Yeah. And it's like we get to do. There's opportunities like he gets that like I would never get to do with another band. Like we've played in the DMZ, we've played in China, even though he's banned in China. Like we've like, it's like we've played like insane venues. We've had these crazy experiences because like I went whitewater rafting in the DMZ. Like no one can really see that.
That sounds like a song title or something. What?
Yeah. Like it was like probably maybe not the best idea, and I like went with a bunch of random people, but I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'm whatever, like I'm gonna do this. It's beautiful there, even though it's an insane place. And like I jumped off cliffs and we like went around the North Korea border, and yeah, it was bananas. But it's like, yeah, he did like a peace festival, and so we got to like be there and experience like, yeah, it was wild. But yeah, most people don't get to do stuff like that. So that's like one reason. I mean, it's part of touring with him is you get to go to these crazy places. And like I was obsessed with like watching like a weird what is it, Yanni who plays the Parthenon?
Oh,
Like a really epic video.
Yeah.
Like that like, sticks in my mind. Like I can like see it without, he's like playing the weird piano, like. And we did a show there a couple of years ago, and I was like, "This is so funny." I was like, "This is like just that's all it reminds me of." Like, I don't know. So it's cool that way. It's cool.
That's amazing. and what are the sets like for John Cale? I haven't seen the live show that you've done.
It's mainly like intense video mapping. He's like this past year we had a tour actually like that started this year off that was 3 months, which was wild. And I made these, there are 8 panels, and they're fabric panels, and I hand block printed, like they're 30 by, they're so big, 30 by 6, 30 by 7. And I hand block printed them, each a different pattern.
You mean 30 feet high? Is that what you're saying? By 7 feet wide? Wow. Okay.
And I would like had to do it in Paris because I was in Iceland right before that on a production. So I had to do, by the time like the fabric and stuff got ready, I had to do it in this apartment in Paris. And I was like screen printing these massive fabric like things in this apartment in Paris. And it was just really insane and time consuming. But it turned out really cool. And then we I made all the content. So I make all his content and I do all his music videos and everything. So I made all the content kind of like from the same prints, but just like manipulated them a ton and then obviously added other things. So it was like layers of patterns on each other. And each strip was video mapped. So like it just looked like really crazy, kind of trippy the whole time.
Wow.
But most of the sets they're very video heavy. They're very like really in your face. Like it's not subtle. And it's cool with him. It's like I change constantly. I shoot stuff on tour. It's like I put things in from like our dinners. Like it's very like on the moment and spur, and like he kind of lets me do whatever I want. I've also worked for him for a long time now, so I have a better idea of like what he wants to see. But yeah, I mean it's cool. Like he kind of the more intense and the more kind of like not brutal, but like there's some really insane video content, and we do these venues like we did Lincoln Center, and it was 4 projectors. Like we do like kind of surround video projection, so we like cover the walls, and it's not always like the nicest imagery, which is cool with him. Like it's like he lets it kind of just be really like can be super gross or like be covered in flies or like be covered in like he lets it kind of be really insane, which is really fun. Like that's like the most fun part. It's also just really funny. Like I've like filmed like just like toys and a weird toy shop in Italy, and they're just like they shouldn't really be on the screen, but he like loves to like kind of the spontaneity. Obviously it's like his history and where he came from and who like it's like the same sort of style in a weird way, but it's cool. Like he's really fun to work for because like I have the freedom to do whatever I want really, and also just kind of like keep it changing because he changes constantly. Like he changes the set constantly, so it's like not like you're gonna know what you're gonna get the next day. So I always make a ton of content, like I have so much John Cale content, like beyond hard drives because
That's
it's
amazing.
like I don't ever know what he's gonna play, and obviously his catalog is massive. So that is really fun. It's really fun to work for him and make content for him and do shows because it doesn't really ever get boring. because it's like you're not just like press play or like, you know, like this is going to look like this and this is going to look like this. It's always like I can really just I could put up whatever, to be honest. And it's like as long as like I'm pushing myself really, then he's fine, you know.
It's so cool because somebody at his age, I mean, and a lot of, you know, artists, and get no diss to him. It's like you get above a certain age and, you know, you can kind of coast on what you've done. And there's no real, you know, need to push yourself or your audience, you know, but it's great to hear that he's, you know, still keeping that spark alive, which is, I think is, you know, so inherent to who he is as an artist, that he's always been changing.
Totally.
Kind of that chameleon sort of, you know, thing, for better or worse. You know, you might like that last record, but what he's doing is the next tour might be something completely different.
Yeah, like he's never going to play he will, obviously. He plays like some like songs you want to hear, but then most of the time he's not going to. You know, like he's going to play like something that he just wrote, or he's going to play a version of a song that might be the song you like, but it's not going to sound like the song you know, like he's just like, it's constantly, which is cool. Like I love it. Like it's like super fun to work for.
It's similar to your brother and, you know, to the Animal Collective thing too. I mean, they for years and years were always touring the next record, you know, like you'd go see them on the record. They just come out, but you're going to hear new songs that are going to come out next year. And that was always part of what was so fun and exciting about those early Animal Collective tours. It was like, you kind of, you know, that record, and then you're going, wait, they're going here next. So what is that going to be? And then that record comes out and you're like, I loved that song when I heard it, you know, 3 months ago. Like I didn't know what it was called. And it was that fun. It really incentivized going to see them as often as you could, because you were always going to get something new. It wasn't just the same old.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, like they haven't toured in a bit, but it like they'll keep doing that. You know, it's like they'll just constantly like keep playing. You know, like they did Sung Tongs. Obviously, they did Sung Tongs. Whatever, 5, 6. I don't know when that was, but like, you know, they're not there yet to like just play all their records. You know, they're like,
we still want new stuff. Well, it's hard too. I mean, I imagine you know, that's a whole other conversation, but the pressure of success is, you know, you have to fulfill that promise as the audiences get larger and larger. You want to challenge, but you're also, now you're on the hook for, you know, those expectations as the audience size and venue size changes. You know, there's a conversation at least to be had about how to, you know, sort of satisfy this. It's a scaling problem with anything creative, you know, of keeping things fresh and exciting, yet how do you do it at such large scale and for long periods of time? Like these tours, you know, will take 6 months or 8 months of your life or 6 years of your life, you know, and you kind of got to go keep it fresh, but also keep it, you know, working. You don't want, you know, the bad reviews will start stacking up at some point and you go, this doesn't work. You know, we got to keep it, you know, ride that fine line.
Totally. Yeah. It's such a weird, especially these days, it's such a weird, you know, it's weird. It's weird out there.
And post-pandemic too. I mean, everything changed, you know, it's for the live setting of stuff. I mean, you were talking about it earlier too, but it just definitely feels like a different world in terms of just the venue artist relationship and the audience relationships as well. You know, it's like, hey, are we all ready to go out to this great show? And it's like, oh wait, everyone's at home on the couch. There's a million, there's a million other things that are vying for your attention, that are cheap and easy and quick dopamine hits, that are making it hard to leave the house, that maybe weren't options for entertainment, you know, 5-10 years ago. It's like,
totally.
That's where I felt like the last No Age tour we did. It's like, I think our biggest competition isn't the show going on the other side of town. It's the cell phone on the couch, the doom scroll on the couch. That's the competition. And it's like, how do you fight that? You know, and so your audience ages with you. And I was like, I'm of that age. I get it. You know, it's a Wednesday and I'm on the couch already. It's 6:00 and I don't want to go anywhere. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see you in a couple years, I guess. We'll see you next time.
That's how, like, I mean, it's like, I get it, you know, it's like, it's a bummer for sure, but it's like, I can't say I'm not that person, you know, like
exactly same. Yeah.
It's like, it's a lot for it to get me out of the house. You know, I'm like, oh, it's cool to just have like kind of any option of movie now or any, you know, it's like, it is like a different world. And I try my best to go out and support the things, but it's like, I mean, obviously we've gotten way older, but it's like, yeah, I stay home way more, you know, and like, it's all expensive. Like shows are expensive now.
Yeah, venues are expensive, tickets, the parking, there's like cost of life, groceries are expensive. All of those things come into account. You're like, I did buy groceries last night. I don't know if I can really go to a show tonight. I have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
I can either spend $100 to go to a show with a friend and, you know, have a couple of drinks at the bar, or $100 to buy milk and, you know, bread. That's like, I can't quite do everything.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah. And then also just the you know, like having a runny nose. I mean, it used to be, you know, again, when you were younger, you know, so you were never sick, you're indestructible, but you reach a certain age, and then post pandemic too, it's also like, you know what? I had this cough that's starting. I probably shouldn't go out. That's probably not responsible. You know, the excuses to not leave the house have definitely gotten longer, and sickness being one of those things. Like, I don't want to get sick. I got to go. I have a work trip next week. If I go out this week, I could get sick, and then I won't be able to, I'll have to cancel my trip next week, or, you know, these kinds of things, you know, just those conversations and compromises you make with yourself of what's worth going out to do. Is it worth getting sick, you know, to go to a show?
Yeah, I do that stuff. I mean, it's like, I've got to go to Iceland soon, and I'm like, everyone's had the flu here, and I'm like, I cannot get the flu, you know, like I can't get the flu right now. Like, am I going to go out? Probably not. You know?
No, I mean, but yeah, our kids had the flu from school, and we didn't see my mom. You know, she's only an hour away, but for all Christmas, she's like, I just don't want to get sick. And I was like, I get it. You know, it's a different world. You know, post pandemic, we all know we're all so much more aware of how people get sick. We've become sort of like armchair virologists. Where prior to that, you would be like, oh, it's no big deal. I just threw up this morning, or it's a little thing. Don't worry about it. And you go out to family reunion and get all the grandparents sick. It doesn't matter.
Everyone's sick. Yeah. I feel like I can think about times on tour when I've been like brutally ill, just like so sick with like probably the flu. And it's like, I would still work nothing, you know, you're sleeping around everyone. You're in a bus or whatever, van, anything. And you're just like, have a fever and nothing matters.
It's expected of you too, though. If you said, oh, I'm sick, I can't do it, you would let everybody down. Like you know what I mean? It wasn't just your own like selfishness. Like, I need to be here. I need this job. It's like, you're expected to sort of suck it up and go out and do the job. You can't really, there are no sick days on the road, really. I remember, one of these early tours, we were playing in Long Island City. It was a Todd P. weird basement thing, and, you know, small show, but everybody went down there, and I was like in a parka, just sweating through a fever, like in the van. And then it was like, okay, it's time to go on. And so I like just ran down into the basement, just sweating with the parka still on, and just played the show. You know, we played for like half hour or whatever, and then just like ran back into the car and just curled into a ball. And it's like, I don't know. I think the show worked. I think what happened. I think that worked, but I just couldn't.
Fine.
Yeah. Was that good? Was it bad? I don't know what it was, but I played the show and then just passed out in the car. It didn't even load out or anything, you know, but those were just those days. You're like, okay, we can't be sick. The show's happening.
Yeah. You just couldn't be. It's just like, or you're too far away. You would never fly home.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, no, exactly right. Those kind of things. Yeah, you're not going to quarantine. Okay, well, it's okay. Just go get a hotel room for 5 days on the tour budget. It's fine. We'll leave you here.
Yeah.
But now we know better. Now we're all a little bit more.
Yeah. Now we know better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Wow. So it sounds like, you know, from those Animal Collective days, and then also your artwork. I guess the question I was going to ask too, when we were talking about the John Cale stuff, is, I mean, obviously you're an artist in your own right, and you have a creative vision, but you're also such a great collaborator. Like, in what ways, like, how do you define, I guess, your art versus your creative vision and point of view versus, you know, when it's a collaboration? Like, are those conversations you have, or is it an instinctual sort of process? How do you make stuff that's just yours, you know, that outside of the production and design work?
Yeah, I've actually been more and more doing more fine art stuff. And like, it's become like a little bit more important to me. I mean, that it never was, because obviously in LA, especially, I did a lot of like skate world, decks and things like that. And they were also collabs, but they were also just like artwork. And I feel like I kind of, touring and production kind of took over so much that like I haven't done that in a while. And so I've been like trying to be better about just like making art. And I think too, it really two separate things, but like in band wise, it's like, it's kind of like instinctual of like, obviously with Animal Collective, it's a collab, but it's very much like known as my artwork. Kind of now, same thing with John. And like other bands, it's obviously very different, and I can tell how much of like my personality is needed and how much it's not. And it's like always like a struggle for me still, because it's like I've worked for so many people that it's like very much like you can tell I made it, and it's like there's still a lot of big, I work for Soccer Mommy, so I do like, her video content and her backdrops and all that production and stuff. And it's not as like obvious, obviously, but it's like you could tell that I designed it, and most tours, if you're going to hire me, you kind of like know that a little bit. But then there's times where I'm just doing a lighting design where like you would never know, there's some tours that like it's, I don't know, it doesn't even look like I made it, and that's fine too. And it's definitely harder for me to do stuff like that just because of like my art practice is so strong, I think. And it's like, it's sometimes like more important to me in a way. And I have to like remember it's, if I'm doing the job, that it's like, it's money and it's work, and I can like suck it up in a weird way, but it's like, it is harder for me to just be like, okay, I don't know. Obviously, like I have a very like distinct style, and it's like, it's hard for me to like hide that, it's like, it's just kind of like, but obviously there's a lot of tours where like it's not there at all. And I can just like technically now know so much about production that like that takes over, and I can like build weird sets and do weird lighting and that kind of thing, and program and do all that stuff that like is just a different part of my brain. But yeah, I mean, I'm still like, I have a solo show actually in LA in July.
Oh, cool.
July. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really supposed to talk about it yet, but oh yeah, there. And then I have part of a museum show in Reykjavik in May. So I'm in not actually, cool. Sorry, take it back. It's in West Iceland. And then, yeah, I do this like light festival in Iceland in Reykjavik that's like in a few weeks. And that's just like my visual art. And I do like architectural mapping on buildings and, like weird videos and fine art stuff. And that's like super fun for me to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to kind of balance it better. I think COVID kind of made me realize that I was like missing a little bit of the like fine art part of me, and also just like running myself into the ground too much while like doing production. I was like, oh, I don't really make anything anymore. So like the past few years I've been trying harder to like draw every day and make my own animations and do kind of like, I do a lot of ceramics now, which is fun. So I like do more ceramic stuff, which like fulfills the sculptural part of my like stage brain weirdly.
That's cool.
And I've kind of like figured out how to like be like, oh, I can still build stuff, but they don't have to be like 40 feet high and I can have them in my house. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's kind of weird and hard to do both in a strange way, but I don't know. I mean, they're both like super fun, and I don't know. It's just, yeah, sometimes it's a little bit of like, it's too technical. Like stage stuff gets so technical that like, it's just part of the job. But it's like, if it was me, I would just do weird, insane things every day. Like, look like Animal Collective, like it's just like, that's like how my brain thinks really,
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, do you keep a sketchbook of stage designs or inspirations or things you want to try out? Like that are
yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I definitely like save a lot of images constantly, like look a lot of stuff. And then, yeah, I do a lot of like drawing. I have tons of sketchbooks. I have like, yeah, I mean, I just kind of like think about stuff all the time. And then if there's a tour that comes up, like I'll throw it out there and see if it lands. And if not, I like keep it, like I'm most excited for like Animal Collective to tour again whenever they do, because I have like 50 ideas. I'm like, okay.
And that
like,
it'll fit for them. It'll work for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What were you gonna say?
No. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, I'm just reviewing like the shows, the big spectacle sort of shows I've seen the last, 15, 20 years. I do feel like stage production, stagecraft in a sort of rock or pop music setting has kind of gotten, I think due to technology and due to, just different kind of venue specs, it's gotten kind of crazy. I mean, I feel like this is sort of a golden age for stage, production. I don't know. I mean, you obviously must be way more hyper aware of it than I am, but even just thinking about, things like the Super Bowl and these, these kinds of things that are big spectacle events. But even, I've seen Flaming Lips in the last, a number of times the last 20 years, and those are always insane. Like, what are some of your favorite things that you've seen, or some of the things you've been inspired by, or sort of, I mean, I've also seen a lot of boring stuff. I saw Oasis play a, giant thing. I was like, can anybody get anything? Can there be any stagecraft here at all? I mean,
yeah, I heard the content was a little bit weird, the video content.
Some of it's just screensaver stuff. I think I think, culturally visualizing stuff through, I think because of TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff. I mean, I think we're a much more sophisticated visual reading culture in terms of how we, understand semiotics and just, and it's endemic, it's innate in younger generations, I think, to just have this like kind of more sophistication for style and design, and it gets reflected on stage. But how do you, I mean, what are some of your things you've seen, or what are you, inspired by, or sort of what trends do you see happening stage design wise?
I mean, it's kind of all over the place, because like for me, because it's like, I really appreciate the technology part of it. Obviously, like I can do different stuff video wise, like like there's so much more option, obviously depending on budget, because the budgets for most of like the newer crazy technology are like insane, so it's like, so if you took something like 9 Inch Nails, I don't know if you saw the pictures of that show. It's crazy, and they always have amazing, like they have a crazy set design always. Like I remember, like we played in Asheville, Animal Collective played in Asheville, like and it was in like another room, like they were setting up, and it was like a festival, and it must have been like they split the amphitheater in half, so like, or I can't even totally remember, but like we were sound checking and then they were sound checking, and like I remember like me and Chris Freeman went over there and we're just like, damn, like it's just so
that's what 9 Inch Nails really does. That's what that 90s.
Yeah, we're like, wow, that's amazing, but it's also like, like same sort of thing. Like, also Chris and I went to like see Alice Cooper in this like, and then this weird casino the same time we played. And like, that's not that type of money, but there's so much weirdness, like it was so funny and fun, and like weird fake people, like, weird dummies on stage and fire and stuff like that. And it's like, I appreciate the non-technology of it, because sometimes our brains have gotten so tired, like it's really hard to impress people. And everything is experiment. Like everything is like, like experiential now, like, which is like, so it's like, I think my mom's here. Hold on. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry.
Sorry. The door's open. The door's open. The door is unlocked. Door. I'm gonna call. I know. Okay. Here. Sorry, I'll be right back. Open that door.
That's okay.
Door. Sorry.
Oh no, all good. No worries.
I knew the door thing would be like, I'm like, it's open.
It's okay. No, we're just about to wrap up. But we could just finish your thought about productions. I mean, I think about like the Taylor Swift stuff. Everyone's got like, wristbands and giant clamshell fabrics and things. It's expected.
Yeah, it's expected, but it's also like it's hard to even like experience anything now, because like everything needs an experience. Like TV shows now have experiences you can go into. Like everything is like, which I appreciate and I love, because obviously like I love that kind of stuff, but it's like getting harder and harder to like be like, do people even care anymore in a weird way? Because it's almost like, can you enjoy it as much if like everything you go to is like so high technology and like so in your face, you know? And I think in some ways, like to me, it's like, is there going to be like a point where like, obviously not, probably not, because the technology is just going to get crazier and crazier, but like, you just can't do anything anymore that's like that interesting because I don't know, it just feels like a very weird time. And I feel like, I mean, for many, many reasons, but
yeah,
it just is like such a, I don't know, like I feel like there's like you hear dogs running to the house.
Oh, it's great.
We're good. Like there's like my dog obviously is like 100 pounds and now his like friend, other dog is here and they're just running through the house.
Oh no, yeah. Well, yeah, no, we could wrap it up here. Oh, I was just gonna say before we close this thing that
calm down.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like I don't know, like it's cool. Like I appreciate the technology and I appreciate the fact that like people want to do, you know, obviously like maybe 10, 15 years ago, it would be less like important for a band to do a set design. And I think it's a weird time for anyone in like our world because no one has any money. So it's just like this funny thing of like, you do want to do a set design because everyone's doing it. But it's like, I don't know. It's just a weird time to like, do you have the money to do it? Is it easy to just, I don't know. It's such a funny, it's like COVID really just made everything so weird, like music wise and, you know, stage and production and money and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like I appreciate all the big shows. I appreciate all the like Taylor Swifts and the 9 Inch Nails. And it's, you know, it's awesome, but it's also like, when does it get kind of boring, you know?
Yeah. What does it take to keep impressing people? One thing I saw a couple years back was Neil Young's solo at the Greek. And it was incredible because they had all these instruments. He had a pump organ. He had 2 different pianos and obviously a bunch of guitars, but he also had like, I think like a Christmas tree and a rocking chair and like a model train set. And it kind of like they sort of just recreated his like living room. And it was just him on stage for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was. And he would just kind of wander from one place to another and like pick up a guitar and then put it down and like, no, and then go to the piano, play a few chords, like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do this one. Okay, let's do this here. And it was like, and then he'd walk over by the tree and kind of look at the tree for a little bit, look at the train set and say something about America or Earth and the, you know, oil and gasoline or cars. And then okay, then we'll play a song. But it just really felt like it was one of those things you're like, I get, this is stagecraft. This is, you know, you're invited into Neil Young's home. That's sort of what he's presenting to you on stage. Like, here's my home. You know, you're a guest here. Let's sort of just hang out for a couple hours. I'll play you some songs and talk to you about the environment, you know. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
That's cool. Actually, I saw him in what's it called in Orange County? Not the Fox, but what's the
Orange County?
Is it Orange County? Not Orange County, but
maybe Pomona.
The Pomona.
Yeah, Glass House.
I saw
yeah.
Yeah, is it Pomona? Glass? I can't remember. It was like a private show type thing, like.
Cool.
And it was the same thing. Like, it was like, he had a bunch of like pots of lavender on stage, you know, like it was like really just cool. Like, I was like, this is cool. Obviously, like people are here to see Neil Young. Like no one, you know, it's
if he had a giant wall of videos, it wasn't going to make the show any better. You know, it wasn't like,
and you're just like, why does he have this? I just want to like see him play music, you know?
Yeah. But the subtle little nice touches of sort of decoration and it's I guess that's part of it too, you know, with these, like, it's knowing your artist and knowing the audience and sort of what's needed to sort of help them express their vision. You know, it's a communication tool in some ways.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, it's obviously like, it's dependent on them, whatever, you know, but I like when it's both. I like when it's still just kind of like no technology, you know?
Sure. Yeah. These stand-up comedy specials, I don't know if you watch any of these things. They're up on Netflix every few months, but they're so subtle in like the lighting choices and even like the like wardrobe things. I remember like I watched this like John Mulaney one that came out last year, the year before. And it was like, he had a unique colored suit and the background sort of had this ombre sort of like lighting thing that just would shift shift every, it's sort of, I was like, okay, this is really subtle sort of thing. But in terms of stagecraft and lighting and sets and things, it feels like there's a whole other kind of world of like stand-up, like special things. There's like, okay, it's obviously thought about. It wasn't just, this didn't just happen. There's a designer here and a lighting person, lighting team, but it's,
Yeah, fully. And like, I mean, I feel like I watch all those, like I did John Mulaney with John Cale. Like like everybody's live.
Okay. I didn't see that one. That's cool.
Yeah. It's just, like it was all like it was last year, there was like 8 episodes or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I got like obsessed after that by like watching all the comedy shows and like, I mean, it's such a, it's cool how like simple they are and how like pretty they are and how, it's like a very different but very specific like world,
Yeah.
And it's just, it's funny to just like, now that that's like a big thing, I don't know. Yeah, it is it's just like everything's so different than whatever 10 years ago, and the style of lighting and the style of what people do and what they can do and what lights are available and that, it's just like,
and it all gets broken down to clips. Is all going to be seen on your phone one way or another as well. So, having some kind of unique visual hook or, something that grabs your attention. It's the, the attention economy, can you watch this for 15 seconds and, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it all
and like,
down to that.
Yeah. And like, I'm sure, this, but like when you do a record now with some, like, if I do like music videos, it's like, you got to have that 10 to 15 minute clip, like you got to do it and then you got to edit those clips. Like, it's just like, it's even more important than the video now.
Right. Exactly. Because that's what most people are going to see. That's sort of the attention span, these quick hits of things. It's a vibe. Vibe. It's not a whole thing. It's just, oh, cool. I caught a vibe on this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah. Well,
my dog.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, let's let's wrap it up. Where can people follow you and what's the best way to sort of keep up to date with what you're doing and the new, you mentioned a show maybe this summer and more events you're doing. How do you like people to find out more about you?
I mean, I have my Instagram, and also a website. Both are, well, I guess, my Instagram's Abby Portner, and I think my website is abigailportner.com.
Cool. I'll put links in the show description below, so anybody listening can go to the show description and get links there.
Yeah, but I mean, I keep pretty much just like update my Instagram with, it's mainly just art now. Like I just post drawings and that kind of stuff, and then if I'm doing anything, that'll be on there. I love this background noise of my dog just squeaking a toy really loud.
Oh, it's perfect.
Perfect end.
Yeah, that's the way to end it. Awesome, Abby. Well, thank you so much for all your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, of course. It's so nice to catch up.
Yeah, good to catch up.
Yes, there she is, Abby Portner. Go find out more about what she's up to on her Instagrams at Abby Portner on the Instagram. And you can also find her website, abigailportner.com. You can contact her there and book her to make awesome things for your awesome band. You can get, she'll design shirts. She can design sets, lighting designs, packages, all kinds of great, incredible things. If you are a rad band looking for rad visual installations, set direction, art direction, set design, all kinds of rad stuff. She also sells tons of great original artwork too on her website. You can buy original art from Abby there on her website, abigailportner.com. And hope everybody has a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Take care of one another. Go support arts. Go support DIY music and art in your country, in your city, in your area, and, make your own stuff. And you hit me up, hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you're digging. Let me know what you're listening to. If you got a rad band, I want to hear it. Send it to me. All right. See you next week. Be safe.
So I send that video to people sometimes who don't know me, and they're like, "Oh, wow." It was so fun. It was so fun.